Kent and Sussex County, understand and hear what many of the issues are. I know some of you, I know many of you, I do not know, and I'm real interested in hearing the issues of urgency that you face down here. As Jeff said, my name is Meyer. Something called the County Executive. When I was first elected County Executive in Newcastle County, as you mentioned, I was a 6th and 7th grade math teacher. I went to a meeting down in DC of county executives from across the country, and the person seated 2 away from me said, when we were introducing around the table, said, among the 50-some county executives in New York, he was the oldest county executive, and the gentleman next to him said, among the 50-some county executives in New York, he was the youngest county executive. And he came to me and I said, among the county executives in Delaware, I'm the oldest and the youngest. I'm the only county executive. Newcastle County, unlike Kent and Sussex, has a directly elected county executive. So here you have a county council. In Newcastle County, we have a county council as well, but we have a directly elected executive. It's kind of like a mayor. The county, we work with county council to move things forward. I grew up in Delaware, in Wilmington. Had the opportunity for a lifetime, went away, studied at Brown University, went to law school in Michigan, and then ended up, after working briefly as a lawyer, was a diplomat in Iraq. I was embedded with the U.S. Army for a year in Mosul, came back home to Delaware, worked briefly for Governor Markell, and ended up teaching 6th and 7th grade math at Prestige Academy, a public middle school in Wilmington. If you have questions about my experience teaching, one of my students is working for me, Xavier, my 7th grader. He's thoroughly trained to just tell the good stuff, not the bad stuff, and I only hire the A students. So he did well in my class. We want to quiz him on how to graph a line, all sorts of formulas. So he's ready to go. Once elected as county executive, this is my first elected office. I ran against a 3-term incumbent. When I told people I was running, my mom said she had my back. My dad told me there was no way I could win. We put a team together of 3 volunteers, literally 3 volunteers, and together we knocked on nearly 10,000 doors. I know down here with your campaigning, you guys know quite a bit about that, and certainly last year with the election cycle here. And we managed to squeak out a victory, and I'm now the first county executive in Newcastle County to get elected since a man named Chris Coons was county executive about 15 years ago. We've done a lot of bold, ambitious things in Newcastle County to address an affordable housing crisis in Newcastle County that I understand is even more acute here in Sussex County. We acquired one of our largest hotels in the county, a 192-room Sheraton, and converted it into what we now call the Hope Center. We did it without spending a single dollar of property tax money. To date, it's taken over 260 families, many of them chronically homeless for years, and moved them into private supportive housing. Nearly 3,000 individuals, Delawareans, have spent at least one night in the facility. I have a teaching background. We in county government created an after-school and summer program called 1,000 Kids Coding, where we've now had over 1,000 middle school and high school students after school and summer learn coding in partnership with a number of area banks and a group called Code Differently. I oversee the 2nd largest police agency in the state, the Newcastle County Police, and we've introduced truly progressive policing. We started the first behavioral health unit in the state of Delaware. Starting 5 years ago, we're sending mental health professionals out with our police officers. We now turn it into a 24/7 unit. So round the clock, you can imagine police are always encountering mental health cases, and we send out professionally trained individuals to assist with that, or sometimes to lead. Several weeks ago, you may know, if you go to mattmeyer.org, we announced our campaign for governor of the state. The same urgency and problem-solving approach we've taken to addressing issues in Newcastle County, we're interested in taking statewide. In my limited experience down here in the beach towns, much of what I hear is about the urgency of the need of healthcare and the shortages of healthcare providers, and also the urgency of housing and affordable housing. It's interesting, it's one of those issues where in Newcastle County, I largely hear about housing from lower income individuals and progressives, people really interested in helping lower income individuals. Here in Sussex County, I seem to hear it from the wealthy business owners as well as those at the bottom of the income scale. The wealthy business owners often can't find labor, can't find anyone to work for them because they got to live 30, 40, 50 minutes away. We have quite a bit of experience in Newcastle County. We normally spend about $1, $2, $3 million a year on housing. We established a $31 million housing fund that's building and renovating over 1,000 affordable housing units in Newcastle County as I speak. I'm interested in working with you to solve a lot of the pressing problems of growth and housing that you have here. In terms of healthcare, you may know that about a year ago I wrote an op-ed advocating for a medical school in Delaware. We are one of 4 states in the entire country that does not have a medical school. I like to say we're now over 1 million people. We're a bigger player, and we need to recognize that harnessing our talent here is really vitally important. I was down here in Dagsboro. I wish I remember the name of the ice cream parlor I go to. I take after the president. Any spare moment I have, I grab an ice cream cone. I met a young lady who grew up in Newark, went to Newark High, is now out in college in Ohio. She works in an ice cream parlor in Dagsboro every summer. I was talking to her, she's planning to go to med school. I said, what if we had a med school down here? She said she'd come in a heartbeat, but of course that's unlikely to be an option. It's not just about doctors, it's about nurses, it's about lab technicians, it's about making sure we attract the talent here to address the growing population, in particular the growing senior population. Has a tremendous demand for those needs. So those are a couple of issues. I'm hoping, again, this is a dialogue, and I'm happy to take any questions or concerns that people have. Yeah, if you say your name as well.
Thanks.